Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner, the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell, the Thumper and Mel Parnell, and Ike was the only one winning down in Washington. I'm talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Well, now it's the 80s, and Brett is the greatest, and Bobby Bonds can play for everyone. Rose is at the vet, Rusty again is a Met, and the great Alexander is pitching again in Washington. I'm talking baseball, like Reggie Quisenberry, talking baseball. Carew and Gaylord Perry, Seaver, Darby Schmidt, and Vida Blue. If Cooperstown is calling, it's no fluke. They'll be with Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey. It was Willie.
Gee, collecting baseball cards has sure changed since Dad was a kid.
Anything that's American, it's baseball cards. Become a multi-million-dollar business. It's a real nice hobby.
Everybody's in it to make a fortune.
I got into the hobby. I was able to salvage about 100 cards from my boyhood collection. When my family moved out of Newark, we took the cat and left the cards. And I had a big collection. And I saw an ad in the back of a Baseball Digest in 1971 that there was going to be a baseball card show in Greenwich Village in a loft. And this just amazed me. So I went there and I brought a couple of my cards. And just as I got through the door, a kid, maybe about 15 years old, ran up to me and said, "Do you have some baseball cards?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I see them?" And he took out two of the cards, and one was a 1951 Mickey Mantle, which was his rookie, and one was a 1951 Willie Mays, which was his rookie. And he said to me, "I'll buy these two cards from you." And I said, "For how much?" And he said, $15. And I thought that was unbelievable. $15 for two baseball cards. I mean, you could buy boxes of cards for that much money. So I sold him the two cards, which today would be worth over $10,000.
The real spirit of baseball card collecting lies in the older cards. We get involved in cards from the 1910 era on through the present time, but we specialize in the 1910 through the 1970s. And we feel that a good representative area of that is the Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Duke Snyder, and in my case, my favorite are the old Brooklyn Dodgers.
You collect for the tradition of the sport and not for the investment value, correct?
Yes, I'm a Dodger fan right away. Jackie Robinson Dodgers, you might call them.
I feel very strongly that there are too many baseball card companies since 1985 in the market. There's 6 or 7 major companies right now. I like the spirit of the Topps and the original Bowmans back in the late 40s and into the 50s and 60s when they were the only card companies.
I found today that the market for older cards in real nice condition, near mint to mint condition, you can, in many cases, double the price in the book. If a card says $500, I have no trouble getting $800 to $1,000 for it. Any quality old cards I have sell almost immediately. People do like them. As I said before, the money is available, so they do move. They don't move to the young kids generally. Around Christmas, Hanukkah, that's when a lot of these cards are sold to the kids. But the adult collector will come in, there's no problem, you know, paying a few $100s for a really nice condition card. If the card isn't in such great shape, then you may wind up holding it for a while.
As far as selling older cards to new cards, older cards, I don't sell as much. Although once, you know, I'll sell a card worth $100. I'll sell a card like that once in a while. But people don't want to lay out $100 for a card. They rather invest. They rather buy a Manly rookie for $30 or $40, knowing that someday that card's going to be a $200 card. They rather not buy the card that costs $200 now. They really like that special play, they will. But nobody really wants to come in and spend $200 on a card. Everybody wants to buy the newest stars. They'll spend $50, but on a new, you know, on a Manly rookie or a Canseco rookie, cards like that. A lot of people really, the trend is going, they want to buy the packs, the wax packs as they're called. And they want to buy the older ones. That's the hottest thing. People want to buy wax packs like from 84, 85, 86. Packs like this, 86 packs. These are worth $5 a pack. Okay? People rather buy this, spend $5 and try to get a Jose Canseco rookie that's worth $70. They'd rather do this than buy a $70 card. Although the odds are you're not going to get it. But, you know, there are some good cards in there. But old wax packs from like 80 and up really are big sellers. But like I said, the new card market is really taking over the old cards. If you look around my store, 80% of my cards are newer cards. I have very few older baseball cards.
One of the nicest things I see that I get a real kick out of is when a kid comes in and says, have a Pee Wee Reese card. Do you have any Pee Wee Reese cards? Do you have a Duke Snider card? I was taken back when some kids didn't know who Duke Snider was. That's my favorite ball player. I had trouble allowing the kid to stay in the store. But there aren't many. There really aren't many. Most of the kids will come into the store and look at my rookie case and try to buy a lot of rookies. Some have their favorite teams. There are a lot of Met and Yankee collectors around here. So that's good. In Oakland A's, there are a lot of collectors around here also. But many of the little kids are just into running in, buying the price guide, looking at the card in the showcase, and if it says $1 in the price guide and it says $1.10 on my card, they won't buy it. But if it says 90 cents, they've already made a dime. That's kind of disappointing.
I'd rather collect newer cards because older cards, they're like no packs around, and plus like they're expensive, and newer cards have potential to rise, and they're excellent potential for investment.
So you think the investment aspect is good for baseball cards?
Oh, just for rookies, yeah. So if you come up with the rookie cards, the only cards right now you're going to make money off of, because now the way they put out cards now in the millions, no card's worth money unless you're going to be mistake cards or they're going to be they're rookies, because the only cards you're going to make money off of now. Now the market is even changing more. Everybody wants to buy rookie cards because people realize those are the big cards to buy. Rookies and second-year cards. That's how I'm trying to sell cards. I'm just trying to sell rookie cards eventually.
I think one of the problems today in the hobby is that you have a lot of young kids. When I was growing up, we collected. We checked the checklists, we flipped the cards, we played games with them, we learned the statistics. I remember eating breakfast and having baseball cards on the table and looking at the stats and so forth. Kids today, most of them, which is pretty sad, are just looking at it for investment value. And they may pick out 3 or 4 guys to invest in. I get calls all the time, will you sell me 100 of this guy or 100 of that guy? For example, last year at this time, people were calling for Greg Jeffries like crazy. By July, I couldn't sell a Greg Jeffries card. Now, all these little kids that had invested, in some cases, actually hundreds of dollars, were getting turned off. there was no collecting going on. They put the cards immediately into holders or into boxes, into sheets, and rarely look at them. And I don't think that's the idea of the hobby. What I try to encourage people to do is look at it both ways. The kids, when a parent comes in and asks for a suggestion, I say, pick out something you really like. If you like the Mets, if you like the Yankees, if you like certain players, collect them. Get a little album, collect them, and don't worry about the value. Just, it's nice to have this. It's nice to show your friends and so forth. And also maybe buy the sets each year, or pick out one or two guys and buy some cards. But if you do it strictly as investment, that's the only reason, you will get burned eventually. And you'll get burned pretty hard, because maybe only 1 out of every 5 rookies will make it. I mean, I can name guys like Sam Horn and Joe Charbonneau that people bought like crazy. They were out of baseball. They're not around anymore.
Well, some of the kids are getting, maybe they're too sophisticated to be collectors. Now they want to be investors. They want to come in with 20 bucks and buy 20 cards for $1 a piece and then sell them for $2 a piece, that kind of thing, which is really the wrong approach to a nice hobby. Hobby is a hobby is a hobby. You know, it's like collecting rocks. What are you going to do? Buy one and sell one the next day? You know, you collect them to admire them and look at them. Hey, a lot of kids are misdirected today, and that doesn't deter the good collectors, though. You got old guys walking around, gray hair, collecting cards that have been collecting since they were kids. You know, they could show you their Mickey Mantles. They could show you their old, you know. It's a real nice hobby. You don't have to be a millionaire to indulge in it. You buy a card for $1, for half a buck, whatever. You know, if you like Yankees, you collect Yankees. If you like Dodgers, you collect Dodgers, that kind of thing. I think it's a beautiful hobby. A couple of guys are always going to come along that, you know, going to ruin it.
It's not just for the sport, it's for collection as well. Yeah. Investment, but it's more for, because I love the sport. You know, it's not just for investments. Adults do it somewhat as an investment, as a collection too.
What do you think?
I think also the kids now can relate more to the Griffeys and the people nowadays than they can to the older stars. And I think those will be their Babe Ruths of the future. You know, that's why they're putting their money into that now.
I prefer Newark cards so I can get the players that I like to watch on TV.
Yeah, your heroes?
Yeah.
I think that what we're seeing is that there are a tremendous number of cards being printed each year, in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of cards. I remember, though, since 1978, people talking about that it's a fad, that it's going to be oversaturated. I know people that got out of collecting because they were sure the hobby was over, and now they kill themselves when they look and see how much money they've lost by getting rid of their collections. I think this is different than other collectibles in that coins and stamps, you know, you never see on TV. There isn't a whole section in the newspaper each day on coins and stamps. You have baseball. You have on the news all the time. You have on the radio just the sports channel, which very soon will be all baseball. So I don't know that there'll ever be an oversaturation of cards. What I've predicted, and we've already seen it a couple of times, is an oversaturation of dealers. All right? What we find is that there are a lot of guys getting into the hobby, and all they're selling is 1988s, 89s, and 90s. And those cards, if that's all you have, you're going to close your store pretty quickly, and a lot of them already are. The old stuff is tough to get, and it's very expensive for a dealer to get it. But I don't think... The big thing that I've seen is up until 1983, I could call Topps or Fleer or Don Russ at the end of the year and buy the clearance stock, the stuff that was returned. Since 1983, nothing's returned.
I don't think there can be oversaturation. You know, they're only going to buy what they want. And eventually, when that point will come, and the manufacturers ain't got I think they pretty much got their finger on the pulse of the industry. They know where to stop.
Individual typesets, the Topps seems to be coming out with more and more and more, and is, you know, it just, in that aspect, like Topps seems to be overdoing it with a lot of extra sets. The other companies aren't doing the same type of thing. Your Kmart, they're reasonably priced, so the cheaper people who can afford not to spend as much as other people will go and collect those, and they are nice cards for the price you pay. And you know, you'll always have your baseball collectors, no matter what.
For kids today, for their age, it's getting more and more difficult because the prices are going higher. It's not something I would say it's kids. It's more adults today.
today the younger card collectors really have no loyalty to either the player, the team, or the card itself. They simply want to know what it's worth and how much it will be worth. When I was young, we collected cards for the players who were on them because of loyalties we had developed. Today it's all investment. It's a business even for the youngest kids.
When you were talking about the older cards and collecting, I look at this. This is a 1953 card of Pee Wee Reese, right? And these were the only Topps cards that were actually done as oil paintings. It's the second year that Topps put out a major set, and I'm a Brooklyn Dodger fan. Pee Wee Reese is a Hall of Famer. I think these cards are great. I love the older cards. On the back, they would have a cartoon, and there'd be a trivia question. It was neat stuff, plus some of the statistics. Then you turn over to the 1990 cards, and right off the bat, you see the marketing change. Because right on the front, there it is, Topps. Every company today puts the name of their card on the front, which I think is ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense to me. The other interesting thing is if you look at the Pee Wee Reese card, you'll see that the corners have some wear. Because when we were growing up, we never thought that it was going to be like this. I remember in order to win flipping contests, taping the corners of the card so they'd be heavier and they would go further distances. And what you used to play, the two games we played was who could get closest to the wall, and you would take the card and flip it like this. That was the movement. The other thing was topsies, where you'd have to get the card on top of the other card. If it was on the white margin, it didn't count. It had to be actually touching the color of the card. I remember some days winning hundreds of cards, and I remember once losing my entire collection to an older kid, and my brother went and got it back for me, my older brother, because he thought it was unfair.
Favorite card set, tell me what it is.
Upper Deck.
Topps.
Donruss.
Topps.
Donruss is probably my favorite.
Right now, I'd say Donruss right now.
86, 87, Fleer.
Upper Deck.
I prefer Upper Deck.
Fleer.
Topps. I like the Topps the best because it carries on the tradition. It's been there for years, and they don't flood the market trying to just sell the most cards that they can. Upper Deck.
You know, all the all-time greats that we'll never see again and they'll never be playing again, and who have set records that will never be broken. That's real baseball.
But I think all the old cards are great. I mean, they're worth a lot of money, and they do bring some spirit of baseball. If you're an older person, kids just like collect them because of the money. They go, whoa, if we get this card, I trade my collection for a 52 Mantle because it's just worth so much. But I like it for the spirit of collecting and just because it's worth a lot of money. I think the older cards are also better than the newer cards. Those cards back then, because they're just better. There's limited quantities and things like that.
People like the new cards. They like to buy large quantities for investment purposes and so forth. I don't think they'll ever be worth what the old cards are. I don't think a rookie Don Mattingly, for example, is going to be worth what a rookie Mickey Mantle was, because they just weren't preserved, the number of nice condition Mickey Mantles. By 1984, when the Don Mattingly rookie came out, people knew to keep them in beautiful condition and put them in their notebooks or in the boxes. So those will never be worth what the Mickey Mantles are.
Kids today aren't really into old-time baseball, which is a shame. You know, they don't know who Joe DiMaggio was or who Ty Cobb was. They know who, like, Pete Rose is or Don Mattingly or Will Clark. That's good, too, but, you know, there's somebody who they looked up to. I think they should know that. It's very important.
Yes, I think the oversaturation of all these baseball cards, Topps, Donruss, Fleer, Score, and the names go on, they offer all these little debut sets, rookie sets. I mean, one or two, like traded, that's a good set to have. One or two from each is okay, but it's just ridiculous at this point.
I came up with the concept a few years ago of having a kids-only auction at my store, and we run them here about every month. And what we do is we take maybe 50 to 70 different items, some complete sets, some rookie cards, some lots of cards, 100-card lots with no minimum bid. And we line them up, and the kids come in with their price guides and their pencils and paper. They write down the lots that they're interested in bidding in, and I start a regular auction. Parents are allowed to be here, they just can't bid. They usually wind up giving the money to the kids, but they can't do the bidding. And I set it up in such a way that if, for example, I have an item that may have, like a Darryl Strawberry rookie card, that's in the book for about $15, I'll start the bidding at maybe $9. If it goes up to $15, I stop the bidding. So the kids can never pay more than the usual retail price for the card, for the item. And the kids really enjoy it, and the parents enjoy it.
What cars do you like better, the old ones or the new ones?
Probably the new ones, because I can relate to the superstars that now more than I can relate to them then.
Do you collect baseball cards?
Yeah.
You do? Why is that?
I don't know.
I collect Kirby Puckett just because he's my favorite player, not because, not for money.
You mentioned that the kids come in now and they're not thinking of collecting anymore. It's a business, and you're right, it is a business. Used to be people came and they would buy packs and open it up and collect the whole set and try to put it together themselves. Now they come in and buy a whole set at a time, buy everything for investment, and usually what they think is a good investment is not. A lot of people buy new stuff thinking they're going to make hundreds of dollars, and for the most part they're buying things that are going to go down, not up. Whereas if they bought things that were actually for collecting, they would make more money in the long run. They would get both at the same time. If they bought Ruth cards, which they can still get relatively cheap, which surprise people, you can get Ruth cards for the same price as a Conseco. You'd have a collection and the money at the same time, and they make a lot more in the long run.
I don't think the spirit's lost. I think it's a stepping stone. You have to start with the new stuff and work your way. You can't just go buy Mantles if you don't know what you're buying. So the kids that are buying these $2 and $3 cards, they're learning the appreciative value of these cards. They fight for their guide every day or every week to see how much their card went up, and they're happy when they made some money. And that's a stepping stone. First they'll work with 89s, then they'll go to 84, and then pretty soon they'll be down in the 50s and the 30 cards. And that just comes with experience. You don't just do that instantly, And again, condition is the key. When they do learn that they try to sell their dollar card and they only get 10 cents because it's got a little crease in it, they learn to take care of them. They buy them, they put them in a nice hard sleeve, and they take care of them. And that's the
nostalgia aspect is gone, which is why you'll find some people sell autographed baseballs, try to get some of it back. Plus, it's a lot more fun to do that instead of seeing the same old pieces of cardboard the whole time. That's why if you walk around, you see a few people who have tables full of baseballs of Mickey Mantle, stuff like that. Stuff that's fun to collect, which is what we try to do.
So you think the whole spirit of baseball is gone?
I don't think there's any question. If you look around, what kids are buying, they're buying new rookies hoping they'll go up. People they never heard of. Greg Jeffries was $8 when he had 3 hits in the majors. Now they're $3. Now that he has a few hundred hits in the majors. The spirit is absolutely gone. I hope it comes back. I don't think it will.
Everybody's putting big price tags on these cards, but a kid will come in the store and he'll want to buy. I mean, a kid can't buy a Mickey Mantle card because it's $300, but A young kid today doesn't want to buy a Mickey Mantle card. He never saw Mickey Mantle. He's not interested in Mickey Mantle. He'd rather buy a Don Mattingly card anyway for $3 or $5, or if he can buy the rookie card for $30 or $40. So as far as that aspect, I don't think that it's hurting. I mean, because this market was supposed to be, at one point it was for kids, but that's strictly out of the window. I mean, it's really for everybody now. Adults and kids collect in their own set ways. Adults might go after the old cards because they want to go after players from when they saw baseball. And they might, being an adult, he might be able to afford spending $100. But a kid, it doesn't bother him in any way that he can't buy a Willie Mays, a Mickey Mantle, Johnny Bench card, because, like I said, he never saw those guys. He's really not interested in them. He's interested in the new players. He knows more about new cards than a lot of adults do. I have a lot of kids come in the store. They know all about the new players. They know a lot more than adults because they follow the cards, the new cards. So they're happy. And then, like I said, I don't think the spirit of collecting is hurt by that. It's just that the prices have really gone up. But people are still willing to pay for them.
Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ted Williams, Yankee Stadium, to Babe Ruth, that kind of, and they're idolized by kids. Sometimes they're not always great idols, but it's very American. It's a nice hobby. It's collecting cards, like collecting stamps, coins, which I do. You find a lot of guys that collect cards are coin collectors, stamp collectors, sometimes antique collectibles, anything that's collectible. If there's anything that's American, it's baseball cards.
Wow. I wouldn't trade my baseball cards for all the money in the world.
The Whiz Kids had won it, Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner, the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell, the Thumper and Mel Parnell, and Ike was the only one winning down in Washington. I'm talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew 'em all.
If there's anything that's American, it's baseball cards. Really.